mine just as soon as we went live, he started making a noise too. He said, here they go.
Is this what's happening today? Is that
I,
all this is about?
you just look, and now you just sitting there looking at me. All right. But he looks like he's going to sleep. So if you start to hear snoring, that's who it is. Shouts
That's
out
who
what
it
is
is.
going on, everybody. It is Community Beacon. It's Friday, January 16th. We are in the place to be. I'm actually looking for those. Where is that stuff at? Is this it? Nope. Nope.
So glad I made it. I made it through. I made it through.
Oh, there it is.
So glad I made it.
I'm your host.
With the most.
Mike, Palm Beach Mike, with my co-host, the incomparable Joel Simmons.
That be us.
We're in Community Beacon, y'all. It's a open discussion. Love to see you all engaging, talking. If you got questions, you know what? Let me. Tara wrote something on the last one, and I've been
Did
meaning.
she?
Yeah, and I've been meaning to respond, but every time it comes to my mind, like I'm in traffic, I'm not even going to attempt. Well, I could pull it up, but she was saying how much needed this show was, and I wanted to share that with you, brother, because I know you're not on, or you probably didn't see it on my Facebook. But she spoke about
Yeah.
how much this show was really needed. She doesn't catch it when it's live for the most part, but she does tend to look through. Also, Chris does it as well. Shouts out to Chris, who
Appreciate y'all.
also always gets it at some point in time if it's not on the day of. We know you all are busy and you all have things to do. This is for the replay gang. You all have things that you have going on, so definitely appreciate when and you do check it out, and not only that you check it out, but that you say something. You have a conversation, you talk about certain points that were made, so on and so forth. So definitely appreciate you guys. We've been doing it for a long time. One of the things that came to my mind today was just the consistency of it. I think when I was talking to a guy earlier, a tech guy. This week has just been tech and sales for me. It's been the most interesting thing. Like everybody that I'm running into, and then we had a bunch of our meetings was about tech and sales. In any event, one of the things that was brought up was the fact of consistency. And when he said consistency, I automatically thought about Community Beacon. I'm like, if there's anything about this show, one thing is for sure is that we are consistently here each and every Friday, most each and every Friday. Probably missed a handful of shows in the past 4 to 5 years, but I appreciate those who also watch it consistently, and once again, also comment and engage, and or when you all catch us in, out and about in the world, and you talk about some of the topics we bring up, definitely appreciate it as well.
Agreed. Agreed. You know what? I like that you said that. That's consistency is huge. It's definitely something that I've been discussing with people and some of my clients and some of my partners. We've been talking a lot about consistency and what it does. As a matter of fact, I just did an interview earlier today, and I was giving the example of the difference between a drip versus a flood. You know, to put it in a full sense of nature, like the erosion of something when rain continues to pour and how it just erodes things. It changes complete landscapes, right? I mean, we have the things like the Grand Canyon, and just there's just so many things. And you can get a flood now. You can get a flood, and the flood will come through and it will do some work, but consistent dripping, the consistent drip over time creates pathways that were never there before. And when you start to think about that in life, professional and personal, consistency is the thing that cements deep relationships, that cements deep or creates deep habits or even neurological pathways. These things right here can lead you, the consistency of doing something can lead you down a pathway where you don't have to think about doing it anymore, ever again, because the consistency begins to take over. And I've thought that that was an interesting thing that you stated that since before we got on all the way up until now. And that's been like the theme of the day.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing what's so funny is that you are consistent, right? But you're everyone is because you're consistently doing something. That's essentially what creates the patterns of whatever it is that's going on in your life. Like you've always, like most people, when they wake up, I would imagine most people I know anyway, is to brush your teeth, right? Like one of the first things that a lot of people do when they get up is brush, and they do it, and it almost goes without thinking because they've been, this is just something that you created a long time ago. It's interesting because I have a 4-year-old named Paul that gets up, and that's the last thing that he wants to do. Like it's to brush his teeth. He's like, it's a reminder. So the creation of it, like a lot of things that we've been doing, we've already been doing it for X amount of time. So everyone is consistent. Now, when you get to the awareness of when you want to maybe change the pattern of something, then and you're doing this consciously, then that's when the repetition and so on and so forth comes into play. But for the most part, there are things that we just, after you establish that, you just get up and do, like you said, brother. Like you don't even think about it. And not only do you not think about it, it creates your entire life, right? Like your whole life is based out about it. Another quick thought, because I was in my mastermind group on Tuesday and the day before, and a couple of people in the group, one of the things that they want to do is the new year. Most people want, health is is top of mind, which is an awesome thing. And so they're talking about going to the gym. So one of the things that I do when I go to the gym now, or not now, is I always send a picture to the group to show them I'm in the gym, or a video in the group to show them I'm in the gym. And I've been doing this since we started. So we're close to around 2 to 3 months into this mastermind. And so every day they see it. So one of the things that the person who's over the facilitator, he says, like he said, he always brings me up. He's like, like Mike, like going to the gym, like Mike, like how do you do that? Like how do you structure your day? And I say, like, it's not even a thought. Like at some point in time because I've been doing it so long, at some point in time, since it's become a part of my pattern, at some point in time, I'm going to go to the gym. It's almost like my day will be structured around the gym. So it like you said, bro, it doesn't even, now when you want to create a new neural pathway, which I think a lot of us are attempting to do, um, it does take that repetition up until the point to where you have it structured in your mindset. And who brought that up? What was the number? Is 66. That's the average amount of repetitions it takes for someone to actually have the pathway in there. But the first 10 days is the establishing of it. Like this is what neuroscience is going to tell you. The first, I believe, 10 days is the establishing of it. And then the next 66 days is to solidify that pathway.
Hmm.
For those of you all that want to do it. Um, but those first 10 days, and this is for anything, the gym just makes it a physical thing, right? So for the first 10 days of the gym, you're going and you're establishing it. But guess what happens in those first 10 days? It's probably going to be uncomfortable, right? The first 10 days, just so you really, so when I think about willpower and discipline, and I only use these things as a short-term strategy because I don't believe that a person should be doing this, using it for the entirety of their life. I think that, my take is that it's gonna onset burnout is what I've seen. But for me to access it during those first to 10 days of the thing, I'm going to the gym. Oh man, maybe I have to get up a little bit earlier and I'm not I got or I gotta before I go home, I gotta do this, or whenever it is that you decide to put it into your schedule, you figure and another thing is to figure out what's the best time for you to go. But one of the first things that I know these next 10 days, this is gonna be some discipline and willpower because I'm probably gonna be sore. I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna wake up. It's gonna throw a lot of things off in my body. Your circadian rhythm might be off. Your sleep might be off. X, X, and O. You already got to put that in your mind that for the first 10 days this was gonna happen. But once it starts to go, the next 66 or the next 66 repetitions that I have, because it's really not about the amount of time, it's about the reps that I'm gonna continue doing it until it becomes that. And
Hmm.
the inverse also applies. Like if you get to a point of going to the gym for it's really 12, it's like close to 12 to 14 weeks. Start to pay attention to the times that you do miss because life happens. So if I miss 10 days in a row, now I'm doing this thing in reverse. Right. If I start to have these 10 bad days or whatever, whatever it is happening, I go on vacation. Look how many people go on vacation for a week or so. And they prepare for the vacation. They may not necessarily get to the gym. They're on vacation for a week or whatever. Then they come back, and then to get back into it, now you may have to start it all over again, depending on the amount of time you've been doing it. If you've been doing it for years and years and years, it's a little bit easier to jump into it. But if you've been doing it, for the first 3-4 months, you're starting to see results. But then you do something else. Now, when you come back, you're probably gonna have to apply some more, possibly some willpower and discipline or resolve,
Hmm.
whatever it is what do you want to call it.
I mean, I love it. I love it. I love where you're headed with that. I was thinking about something that I saw. Sean Spencer had jumped in and joined us too, and this guy, 19 MMA major MMA bouts and things like that, and checking this out. So I would be interested to hear what he thinks about consistency if he's still there on the other side. You know, you know, uh, Sean saying, "What's good, fellas?" Appreciate you, Sean, for checking in on us. 100%. We're doing well. Talking about consistency. Love to hear something about what you think about consistency, seeing that you've been inside of them MMA battles and where it brought you. But I love the way you frame this up, Mike, because just like jumping into that, consistency creates identity. And just understanding that you are becoming what you desire to be or what you don't desire to be. Because I like the way you also frame that. We are always being consistent in something, right? We're being consistent, whether it's something that we are programming our body to do, our mind to do, our actuality comes forth out of the things that we are doing consistently. So consistency creates our identity. And what you do repeatedly, that's exactly who you are. Sometimes other people can see it more than an individual can see it themselves, especially if they are doing these things unconsciously. If they're doing it unconsciously. If you are unconsciously doing things, you may not even know exactly what you are or who you are or what you're doing, and someone may need to bring that to your attention. However, it's a little bit different if you are intentionally laying the groundwork, right? You're creating the habits because habits become behaviors and identity is ownership. So, I mean, there's a difference there. And I love how you started talking about working out. That's one of those things too. I was talking with my parents earlier today and I was just thinking about this thing. And I was like, okay, I'm out here, I'm doing this. There's a bunch of interruptions, right? We may call them disruptions, we may call it noise, but there's a lot of things that started to happen from the point where I go to take my son to school and then I go to the gym, right? That's what it is. So my consistent action is I wake up and I go to the gym, come back home, pick up my son, take him to school. If that does not work, I have a then. So if that doesn't work, then I wake up, I get my son ready, I take him to the gym, I take him to school, then I go to the gym, then I come home and I start my work. So I have an if then, so that I'm always going to the gym. And that has it became me, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm talking with my parents, and my parents are like, "Oh yeah, what are you getting ready to do?" And I'm like, "I'm getting ready to go to the gym." And they're like, "Oh, that's good, that's good." I'm like, "Well, I am, because I am the person that goes to the gym. That's who I am. That is just who I am. Whether it's at 4 in the morning, or whether it's at 8 in the morning, or whether it's at 10 in the morning, I am the person that goes to the gym. That's who I am. And like you said, Mike, if I miss a day or 1 day or 2 days because I'm traveling or whatever, I am the person that goes to the gym. Like it's ingrained in my mind. So the minute that I'm not going to the gym, I'm going to the gym and I'm there and I'm in there and I'm doing the work and then I'm going about my business. Right? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Agree.
it's an interesting thing when you start to embody something. Because I'm not calling it identity. Like that's I I used to, but for me there's like a subtle distinction now. Um, but going to the gym is something that I value, and because I value it, and it becomes a priority to me. Now, from the outside in, because people want to put a label. People like to label something. That's what we do as humans. We tend to Most humans will label things as, okay, yeah, Joel is the person that goes to the gym. But within myself, because I have been that person, right? And it comes when identity comes with um like you what was the word you used? You said you didn't use the word agency. You said ownership, I think is the word that you is the term you used. So then I became that, the guy that goes to the gym. And there it would just weighed something on me. When I actually let it go to more so, and I guess what it is, it was like a deeper, I went to a deeper or different level. Let me not say deeper. I went to a different place with it, which it was okay. It's not just about going to the gym. It's about the person that could, because the desire and the want to go to the gym is 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 what started it, right? This is what came to the mind. But the next desire was, okay, I'm the I want to get healthier. I want to get stronger. And then it was, oh, okay, well, rather it was, I want to get strong, I want to look better. And then it was, I want to get healthy. And then when it became getting healthy, then everything else, when I identify that part of it, like, okay, I want to get healthy. That's the my desire in this case. That's what I want to embody. I want to embody health. Then the gym was just a part of the thing, right? And now this is, you know, it just became a part of the thing. So sometimes it's, I don't need to go to the gym, but I do need to walk, right? Like now what happens is that, and what I'm talking about right here is more so about expansion and abundance. Because if it goes from the, you know, not, being going to the gym to more so being healthy as being the identity, now it starts to push over to, okay, so what am I eating? What about how else can I do this thing? I got it. I got this little trampoline that me and Paul go back and forth with it. So I'm jumping on the trampoline, or we have like these, I got these tiny weights for Paul. So he picks them up and he's like, my turn, your turn. So when it became this embodying thing, is like, I don't even have to be at the gym in order for me to have this health thing. So it was an abundance thing, but the gym is a great place to kind of start going into this abundance mindset of it, and then seeing where you want to go from there. But I definitely believe like that's the first, you know is an awesome step. It's not the first, it's an awesome step as far as just getting your mind into the thought process of, for me, to get healthy. now I can kind of trace those things, and even the my my pathology of how I got to that point. Uh, and which was interesting. So now I'm talking about the gym, and I'm gonna get back. We'll get back to the which is the consistency portion of it. But this is an open discussion. I was took Elijah to the bus stop this morning. Shouts out to Florida in this cold. God, the Most High turned on the AC, and I felt it this morning. And so when so the night before, I knew it was gonna be like 30 something degrees or 40 something degrees in the morning. He normally walks to the bus stop. I said, I'll take you. I'll take you tomorrow. He said, okay, cool. So we're driving and we got there, and this is an awesome time for us to have these present conversations. Like this is the best gift you can give somebody is your presence, right? So we were able to get into this conversation because he was asking me questions about um health and going to the gym, or just life in general. And I was like, it's interesting how we learn these things, specifically like life. I say like the skills and your work, or the thing that you do to make a living, well, so to speak. Like a lot of the things that we're taught should almost be in reverse, right? Like I was thinking that the first thing a person should talk about, should learn is, and this is going back to the gym, I'm not straying too far, is that like the rest piece, like resting, is super important. I was told if they could bottle sleep up and put it in a pill, it would be illegal, right? Like the type of output and the type of responses and the type of results you get from a great night's sleep is paramount to any kind of supplement you can have, so on and so forth. But we don't really think about that because we're always on the go. Our circadian rhythm is messed up. Which leans into that. So now we're going on a half empty tank, which I did this morning because for whatever reason, I know what reason, but I was up real early. So when I got there, I was like a little bit tired. So that's the first thing. And then if you go even before that, because what affects your sleep is like your nutrition. So if you eat well, you're more likely, and you're more likely to have a better sleep, because what you eat and your nutrition is going to affect your hormones, is going to affect your the protein synthesis, is going to affect your energy, is going to affect everything. So you'll sleep better depending on what you ate, and of course being hydrated, and being hydrated at the proper ratio of because hydration is really about your what is it called? Your sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So if you were to do it that kind of way, but instead, the first thing that we do, which is still a great place to begin, is um in the going in there, because now when you're in there, which is, you're also going to see other people in there. If you're having conversations with people who are also thinking health, because there's other people who aren't necessarily thinking health, but who are thinking health, it'll push you into the direction of the unique direction of where you want to go.
Hmm. Yeah, you're talking about like your environment, huh? Yeah,
Environment is,
consistency. What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. I was saying it's super important. Environment is super important.
Yeah, environment. The circles that we're in, and all of those things have play such a large part in who we are. Who we are. Gosh, yeah. Brooklyn Boom. Shout out to you, brother. Yeah, man. Much love to you as well. Thank you for checking us out. We're talking about consistency today, man. Let us know what you think and what's on your mind. I like what you're saying there, Mike, and I love how you took that to the next level, right? You took it from the identity of the gym to somebody who is healthy, and what does healthy look like, right? And so it's like you tiered that up, and that was very interesting the way that you did that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about who we are, what we're being, and being is just being, right? There's really no classification for being. It's just what is. When I look at the Most High, I look at the Almighty God, and I think about Him. It's like Moses. Who shall I say sent me? Tell them I am that I am. It's like, oh man, all encompassing, right? Just I am it all. So there's no word that you can utilize to form me. So try that on for size. This is infinity,
You
right?
said try it on the side. Yeah.
So I love this conversation about consistency. I really do. It's one of the pillars that I always discuss with people at some point in time. It's generally towards the end, like the fourth pillar, and it comes after a few other things. But I've noticed that consistency really does help us. And I love the way that you talk, because I don't know if people always are listening to the context of the multitude of these episodes, right? I mean, somebody may jump in and hear like this episode, and then maybe they may not be back for a month. I don't know. But hearing the context clues that are happening, and there's certain things that you say so frequently, and some of those things are, about how you attend a mastermind, right? You're doing that so often. And then everyone got a chance to see that follows you, got a chance to see, okay, he's posting every single day his workout. Then you open up that you were posting this workout within a group. And it's like, see, there was something more to it than just, hey, I'm just showing y'all. It's like, no, there was a purpose behind this. And not that you were seeking a reward, because I don't think you're really that type of guy who's looking for the accolations from all these different people and stuff like that. Maybe you are. But nonetheless, you got one. You got one. It's like, y'all should see what Mike's doing, right? You became an example. And I think that is something truly impressive, right? I think it's impressive that you were able to do that and possibly not seek that out. Like that was not the intention. Like, I'm going to do this so much that they're going to the teacher going to call my name out in class, like one of them type of things. Everybody going to know who the best is now. Now, I don't feel like it was that. You can speak for yourself. But at the end of the day, that did happen. And it was because of the consistency. It was because of the consistency. Now, arguably, it could be discipline. Arguably, it may not be. It may just be habitual. But at some point in time, a lot of times, I believe that discipline becomes habitual, right? Because as you mentioned in the neurological pathways, we talked about that. Sometimes when we are intentional, the neurological pathways that we are creating are not ones that our body wants to adopt. And so we have to tell our bodies, we have to do the thing that we desire to do to get the results that we desire to have, whether we always want to do them or not. Whether that's discipline or not, I suppose I'm open for the conversation. But I believe that the open discussion of that being discipline, I think that it is. And that discipline ends up eventually becoming a habit, and that habit ends up becoming a behavior. That behavior is now proof of the consistency.
Yeah, brother. So what we're talking about now is like essentially we're talking about growth and change. That and probably the tension that it requires. Like, it's funny that you mentioned me posting it online because I was with my social my marketing coach. Shouts out to Dean, and Mike, he said, Mike, I would logged on to your Facebook, and you know, he's a real estate my real estate marketing coach. He's like, I logged on to your Facebook, and instead of seeing the townhomes, He said it looks like you were what do you say? It looks like you were auditioning for Mr. Olympia.
Oh God.
And so when he said it, so when he said it, he said, when he said it, it just hit me because I don't know if you all know like a few shouts out to Brooklyn. What did Brooklyn say? How does one become or begin to become consistent? You're consistent, Brooklyn. You're consistent in something. So you look at what you're consistent in and how you became consistent in that, and then you can kind of, I would say you can kind of move it to something that we're now what you're talking about. How can I become consistent in something that I want to do, or changing, or who the person that I'm, this image that you want to change. Then, like the brother said, your habits, you start to look at the people I would model the person who has those habits, right? And if you can get around people who have it, we spoke about environment, you get around those people, it's going to make it a lot more enjoyable, especially people who you um either whether you admire them or you enjoy being around them or whatever, but having that environment of people who already have those, whatever it is you're trying to do, but you are consistent, right? Do you consistently get out of the bed? Like, does someone have to tell you to get out of the bed? Does someone have to tell you to brush your teeth? Does someone have to tell you to take a shower? Does someone have to tell you to, I don't know, but to get the mail? Like all these little things that we do. And these are just things that you can start to become aware of. So I think essentially it's like, what am I aware of as far as how can I start to look at these little things, which is this is a part of being grateful as well, and gratitude, because there's nothing that you really need to change, or as far as yourself or heal or health, or whatever. You just need to become aware of these things and then say, okay, well, look at Joel over there. Joel, I don't know, whatever Joel does consistently. Joel said he goes to the gym. Okay, well, I want to do something like that. I'm going to start going to the gym, right? Or I'm going to talk to Joel about how he developed that habit, or where did that come from, and start to get around that. And I imagine that Joel, and I don't know if you're Joel. Is he around you, or?
Brooklyn he's a consistent man.
Well,
He consistently asks questions like this for the sake of discussion. So, but I think it's good. But yeah, I know old
right.
Brooklyn Boom. Yeah.
Um.
You know him too, from a distance.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So Dean told me about me auditioning for Mr. Olympia. Now, Pete, this is so funny that he caught on, but he's a very in tune person, is what I'll call him. And so my thought process with last year, as I was going to the gym, starting like February, March, there was this video I saw of Arnold, and Arnold working out and doing his thing, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, that's how hard I'm gonna work." You know what I mean? Like it was already, and he was preparing for the Mr. Olympia, which he ended up winning. He beat Lou Ferrigno in that one, and so I'm just like, so for Dean to point that out, it brought it back to my awareness. Like, yeah, and when, and this is just how powerful the mind is that when I started to embody that, whatever it was, this workout thing that I was doing, the mindset of it, and I embodied it. I mean, up to the point where I'm in the gym, like, you know, lifting to feel certain feelings in the muscle. It was because of the Arnold thing, and for Jim, for Dean to bring up, you're working out for Mr. Olympia. Like, well, yep, you see, so it's almost something that you can't even help, because I wasn't doing it. Like, I'll post these workouts because of well, it was even prior to the mastermind, but I was just posting these workouts. It was, these things are, I would say for me, I mean, I'm probably on a different level, someone to see it, especially specifically Elijah. I know that much. I know I definitely want him to see me working out and going to the gym. But it was interesting how he brought that part up. Um, Consistency, guys. I don't know, brother. I lost my train of thought because I had something before I got into my dean conversation. Environment. how environment can help to push you into the direction of consistency. I'm telling you, if you start to get around people that you enjoy being around, if you start to get around people who are doing the thing, and it doesn't have to be, if we're going to keep with this example of the gym, but you can use this in any other context of life. If you get around people who are doing it, that you enjoy being around, it makes it a lot easier. Not only does it make it a lot easier, but now you have people who are doing it. So on the days that you may feel down or whatever it is, if they're already doing it, if this is a part of their lifestyle, it just makes it that even easier. And I'm not talking about um and it can get it, but it's because you ultimately need to be accountable to yourself. But being able to see other people do it, being able to have people to that when you go there, they're able to engage with you on something, being able to show you how to do it. Imagine going to the gym, you don't really necessarily know how to work out, and you're in there just doing it, and then you hurt yourself. Like that's enough to set anybody back. And it doesn't matter what it was. You've been doing it for 10 days, 30 days, whatever, but you get hurt. Now imagine like what's that going to be like when you get there? But for someone to be there to kind of look over you and say, listen, maybe you don't want to start here. Right. Maybe the first thing I got a guy who called me this week and was like, or last week, and he's like, I want to go to the gym with you at least at least twice a month. I'm like, all right, cool. And so I already know this person hasn't been working out like that. When we get in there, I'm going to be doing what I do because I'm there. But like to start this person off is it's going to be like a slow process. Sometimes it's just, hey man, get on this treadmill. Do 30 minutes at a small pace. Just start to get your body acclimated to being active, right? Same thing in anything it is that you decide to do in life. I want to make this change. Okay, get into, because you don't have to get it all at once, right? Because I'm you you'll stop going. So figuring out ways to enjoy the thing, figuring out why it is that you want to do the thing, right? Like if you first go into the gym because I want to look a certain kind of way, you're more likely to start to try to bypass things and take different things that you normally wouldn't have done. When you start doing things and saying, okay, I'm just doing this to be healthy, right? All the other things come with it, and you know that it's going to be this is a lifestyle choice or decision. This is a lifestyle change. This is a part of something that I want to embody, so that at the end of the year, you too can get a call from your marketing coach and tell in the call, and they'll tell you what
You too can get a call from your marketing coach.
you too, your marketing coach too can tell you. I
You
don't
got to
know if
go
you
get the
do.
marketing coach first, though.
I don't know if you. I don't know if you're doing real estate, but I for darn sure know you looking like you're going to Mr. Olympia or
Oh
something.
man,
Yeah,
my
it
man
was
said you
hilarious. It
too
was
can get a
hilarious.
call from your marketing coach.
To tell you doing something, but to show you your body. And this is what people are seeing. People see what you like, what you begin to embody, right? The type of person that you're being. Like that's really what's expressed. Is that and this crosses all cultures, all everything. Is just okay. This person values and prioritizes this. It manifested this way, it expresses in this way, but they value it. You don't even have to say it. I'm not having conversations with people about, I I am on community beacon, but in real life, I'm not really having conversations like that. It may come out from time to time, but for the most part, you just walk around and people say it to you, whatever it is that you're embodying, or you'll come across these different type of people.
You know what? That's the beauty of being yourself. That's the beauty of being yourself. When you become yourself, and you're not attempting to follow somebody else's lead simply because you want to be in the same room as them, but you are yourself, then every room you walk into, it's just so right. It's so right. Because if you don't fit, you leave. And if you do fit, it's because the room fits you, not because you fit the room. I love that. I absolutely love that. you know, kind of bridging something here somewhat, but it's like, or maybe just opening up a different conversation. I know we generally hit some part of a conversation where we start talking about the being or the identity of an individual, but the thing is that just being yourself feels so good. Man, not having to be concerned about what other people are thinking or what other people are saying, right? And then you can take constructive criticism because you know what you're gaining, you know what you're looking for. It's like when you go to a math class, you go there because you want to learn math or because it's required for you to get whatever degree it is. But there's a purpose behind the entire thing. Living with purpose makes so much of an advantage for an individual. When we don't have purpose, I believe that it can feel very shallow. It can feel very shallow. So I'm loving that. Shout out to Legacy with the three Y's, who said, trying to get better at being comfortable in all spaces. Mike, you want to talk about that a little bit?
It's interesting, Legacy, that you brought that up. So I know that, and so there's a reason for it, because prior to getting on here, we said it was going to be an open discussion, but 30, 45 minutes, you're getting ready. You're like, man, what are we going to talk about, right? And what came up for me prior was, and so now you're bringing it up, and so I appreciate it, was I'm not comfortable. Like I'm in a place that I am not comfortable in the slightest. How do you get comfortable with being uncomfortable? Because as a part of growing, when we even when you go to the gym, lifting weights and it's the tension that grows it. And the tension is not always comfortable. How do you start to enjoy being comfortable with that? With the thing, how do you not, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be joy, but how do you just become aware of the uncomfortableness in it and be like, oh, okay, like this is a part of it? That it's an interesting thought. And what part of me is uncomfortable?
Yeah. Let me jump in there, because that man, you just said something right there. It's like that acknowledgement. We've talked about that A-frame that we created, the awareness, that acknowledgement, that acceptance. It's like that is to me, that has become a huge step. It's one of the steps that I teach. Because I remember I was talking with Mike one day, probably about 5 years ago, between him and my mother. And I was talking about this, like, I called it the multiple personality, not like the disorder, but just like when I'm at work, I'm like this. When I'm at church, I'm like this, and it was all about being comfortable in all these different types of spaces. But the thing is it wasn't really about being comfortable in all those different types of spaces. For me, it was about the fit in. It was about the fit in. It was about not feeling as if I did fit in. And the crazy part about it was I did. And I just didn't acknowledge it. So I took time to myself. I took time and I got away from everybody. There was only a few people that I was near to. Mike's one of them, because I've always been able to trust his ears and his voice. My mother, right? She's one of them. Shout out to Miss Marie Jenkins, and I just kind of like, I shut down the noise of the world, and I just went deeper on the inside. Like, who is Joel Simmons? Who am I? Who am I? What do I like? Do I even know what I like? Like, do I know what I like? Or do I just like what you like because you like it And when I'm with you, I like it too. Like, these are crazy questions,
It's not. I don't think so.
but
I
they
don't
are
think it's crazy.
so very real, because I had to take the time to separate my thoughts from other people's thoughts, my emotions from other people's emotions, my actions. I had to learn how to take responsibility and accountability for those. But what is written on that screen right there, trying to get better at being comfortable in all spaces, that's a form of acknowledgement, which means you're in the right space, in the right place at the right time, traveling down that right path.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of noise in the world, and so similar to the brother, I would you get around and you can get around people because it doesn't have to be a lonely road, right? You get around people who allow you to figure out what is your unique way of being. That helps. But yeah, I'm 1000%. You get around people who allow you to be who you are, especially in that time period of finding out it is that you are and how and then and figuring out how you show up. So that's high awareness, legacy, high awareness at this time.
That's dope. That was a great comment. I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, yeah. I think, brother, you got into this. I was reading something today. There's a book. There was a book called Life in Air, but I ended up going to the website because I lent somebody the book. I know exactly who I lent the book. I get a chance to go
What's the
back.
book called again? Say it again.
It was called Life in Air. It's a whole thing. It's it. I just there's a story that I read in a book long time ago, and I wanted uh to revisit it. And I lent somebody the book, but I just wanted to get an understanding of what the story was. Anyways, long story short, one of the things that they said they were they had like this way. It's called seed, and it was saying that you strategize, and then that's the S part. The E part was um empty. It was like emptying out. And I thought that was when I saw that, that part of it, I was like, yeah, because less is more. So what I hear when you have to like you have to start to empty a lot of these things that you've been taught and you've been brought up, you get a chance to empty it out. Does this mean that you no longer ascribe to these things? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you get a chance to actually take a look at it. And the only way you can take a look at it is to kind of be as impartial as possible. So you got to empty it out. Um, this guy Joe Hudson, and I'm doing his cohort now about great decisions. He has an awesome framework. The framework is called VIEW. So the V stands for vulnerability, the I stands for impartial, the E stands for empathy, the W stands for wonder. For this intents and purposes, if because you saying that is you becoming vulnerable and with yourself, because you don't need to say it to us or even put what exactly it is that you're having uh, what you're attempting to do. I would look at the word try, because you're doing it, is to be vulnerable in the spot. And first off, I appreciate you letting, because that is a vulnerable for you to say that. The I is the impartial part. What does impartial mean? And is that you're not really, there's no charge on either side, which is almost impossible. That's why it's much more important for you to become aware of it. Because now when I'm aware of it, then I can kind of, and if I'm in connection with somebody else, I can make them aware of it, right? Like one of the things that I do often with the two young ones, specifically Elijah, is, and I did it this week with him. I said, it was Monday. I said, hey, he's like, yeah. I was like, I got a lot of I'm sitting with a lot of frustration and irritation right now. And at the time, I didn't know what it was. I don't know what it is, but I'm letting you know. And Elijah was like, okay. You know what I mean? Because this is not the first time we've had this conversation, but I'm letting him know in connection. What's also what you do is you let yourself know. This is the impartial part. Like this is because you need to be in view with yourself. So you tell yourself, like, man, I'm sitting with these things right now. I'm not, there's feelings of maybe coming up. I don't know what to call them. Sometimes I do know what to call them or whatever it is, but I'm sitting with these things right now. It's not, and tell you what, here's the dope part. It's not a bad thing. Like whatever these feelings you have, they're okay and you're allowed to have them. But if you let yourself know these things, then your response to it, the thing that you can take, that you can be responsible for, your response can be like, you can take it into consideration. So when I tell Elijah, like, hey, I'm, I'm sitting with some frustration and irritation right now. So if you see me on the computer, maybe when you walk past me, you don't try to put me in a chokehold. You know what I mean? Because I may not necessarily be, I may not necessarily be up to it. I may snap, or you could do it, right? But I may snap back at you, right? And so it's almost like, to me, it's almost it's an apology up front because I'm snapping, right?
I dare you,
Yeah.
boy.
No, I don't dare him because he's good.
No, I
Because if I
know, I
do
know.
it,
I'm
yeah,
messing now,
no,
man.
I'm joking too. But and it's just an extreme thing. But I'm letting you know. Or when you do this, asking me questions, I'm in the room and you're coming in, you got to ask me this, and he asked me that, and then. But hold on, I'm gonna tell you the dope part, and I'm gonna tell you what the frustration and it came from was really from sugar, right? I cut sugar out. I didn't even think about it till Tuesday. I was like, oh, that's what happened. Because I looked in the freezer and there was a bunch of Dubai chocolates in there. And I'm like, I haven't had one of those in a while. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's probably why I'm irritated or frustrated right now. But when you start to have that with yourself, and then you can start to have this response with yourself. Now the response that I'm giving, because now I still got Paul could care less if I'm irritated or frustrated, right? He wants my presence, right? And I'm also give you guys a real quick dope thing that I've been doing for a hot second now in response to these two young ones. It's like now I can be I can be responsible about what it is. Like when he does something and I'm just like, and that irritation comes up because I can't, it's coming up, right? I'm a human being and it's coming up and he's doing something. It's like, you irritated. I told myself first though, right? I told myself first. That way my response to him, so I can be in view and in connection with the people, was the impartiality. I'm gonna tell you what I also did with these kids I've been practicing. Is 15 minutes of special time. This is like a cheat code if you have children, or you probably could do it with your partner, but definitely with children. I'll tell you about these two boys, and it was interesting because with Paul it was easy because he's so young, so he's impressionable. I say he wants my attention, and he said, and maybe I'm doing something or whatever it is, and so I stop whatever it is that I'm doing, and this is each day. I stop whatever I'm doing. I say, do you want your 15 minutes right now? Right. And it does, and I don't care what I could be in the middle of a phone call. I'm gonna have to call these people back. And if he says yes, that's it. This is 15 minutes of uninterrupted. My phone is someplace else, whatever it is, unless there's like this huge emergency, which there aren't 9.9 times out of 10, there's not gonna be, right? He has my fully devoted attention and presence for 15 minutes. Elijah was interesting because the first time he did it, because he was coming in my room and he's like, and I was like, you want your 15 minutes? The first times I did, like, 15 minutes, what is that? And I'm gonna tell you what the dopest thing is that the other day he came and he wanted to play around, and I was like, okay. I said, is this it? Because I was doing something, and he was like, I was like, you want your 15 minutes? He was like, come on. I said, okay. So then we had 15 minutes of like uninterrupted, just present time. It was like one of the most awesome things that, when you do it, because the biggest thing that you can give to a person is your presence. I don't, whatever it is, However it is, and then when I'm saying presence, it's in this the context of this view framework, the vulnerability, the impartiality, the empathy, meaning that I'm, even if he's upset about something or whatever it is, I'm just sitting there with him. Hey, we can sit. I know you got these, you got whatever you got going on. I'm just sitting. I'm not trying to come up with no solutions. I'm not, I may ask some certain questions like to get some more clarity on the matter, but the clarity is there's no, I'm not going anywhere with this. And we're going to do this for that. And I'm going to give you your time and I'm going to be there as a father. I think it's important for me to be there with you. Most people are having what they call daddy issues because subconsciously, a lot of people feel like their father wasn't there to protect them for whatever it was. He's a human being, whatever. But who knows, right? At the time, it was grown folks' business. So people have these issues and they're upset and they're resentful because they weren't there for them for whatever it is. So me understanding and knowing all this, and like I said, this awesome view framework to be able to sit there with them while they're having these reactions or these feelings, whatever it is that they want to call them, for you to be able to sit there and tell them like, this is what most people want. It's interesting because I can do this to adults, to where when you just sit with an adult and allow them to have their feelings and allow them to have whatever it is that they have going on, like it's stepping into that role. But to be able to do it for my kids, I just thought it was an awesome thing. Real quick, if like try it. I don't care how old they are. Elijah is 15, 16. Hopefully he's not watching right now, but he's 15, 16. And we can call it. Maybe you call it something different. This is just what I just decided to call it because I didn't have time to make up a different name for it. But but figure out what you want to call this thing that's going to get through to them. That's a part of you putting in that effort and I'm going to speak to the fathers, but anybody can use this as a father to put in the effort, no matter what it is. If you maybe you're not with your child, right? Maybe you don't have the thing, but you do get contact with them. Maybe you do have a certain amount of time, because those 3 days, right? Whether or whatever you have, whether it's 50-50, 25-75, 10-90, 5-95, or whenever it is that they want you to take the child, if this is your case, if this was what's going on with you, it's not about the quantity of the time, it's the quality of the time. And people can come and you have to know this, because people can come into your life for 30 minutes and make a huge difference if they're sitting with you with whatever it is that you have got, what you got going on. So the same thing with your kids. If your kid sees you, and this is we speak about intentionality, right? All the time. And you're intentional with that time. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to compete with whatever it is or whatever it is. Just for these 15 minutes, I'm going to do it. And then what happens is you start to catch other times. I'll give my final couple examples, and I missed the time too because I'm not perfect, right? I thought about that the next day and I was like, man, I missed it. Paul will be doing something and he'll see me, and he doesn't want his 15 minutes, or maybe he's already had his 15 minutes, and I see him, he just looks up and he looks back at what he's doing, and he looks at me and he looks back what he's doing. And so now I started being intentional about like watching him when he does that, so that he sees me watching. That's all he wants. He wants to see. He doesn't want to deal with me. He's not playing with me. No, nothing. He wants to see me watching him. Like, look, Dad, look at what I'm doing. Like, look at this. Like, look at this. And it's just these quick things. I'm quick and I'm trying to catch it. I'm trying to catch it more and more. Now, I missed one with Elijah because I want to say it was, I don't know if it was Sunday. It might have been Sunday or Monday. I'm so proud of that young man too. Shouts out to Elijah. I'm so proud of him. He asked me a question like 4 times. It was the same question. It really had to do with like going to the gym. It was like, Dad, something about the gym. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. I'm not paying attention. This is me in my mind. Second time something happened. Third time, fourth time. It wasn't until the next day I was like, oh, I see. He wanted that time, whatever it was. So that day, say this happened on Sunday. The Monday, I was just so much more in tune because I became aware of this thing and I'm catching it like, oh, okay. To now to the point where shouts out to him. This dude is starting to run on his own. Like he's going outside and he's just running around the block or whatever. I know that there's some reasoning behind it. There's a reason that we all have when we hit that 14, 15, 16, 17 period. And it's okay because we all did it. Or we all have a reason for doing it. So he was doing that, and then he just started doing it. And I'm telling you, if you start to acknowledge these things, if you become aware of these things, and then you start to accept these things and do, now the adjustments start to become secondhand. And I'm just things start moving in slow motion. Now, when the things start moving in slow motion, you get a chance to figure out what you're going to do with it, right? I was thinking about the context of sales. I was like, sales is interesting because at one point everything just seemed quick and fast. Like if you when I was doing cold calls, they were like quick and fast. Like I'm like, man, I've been on this phone for I've been sitting here at this phone thing for 6 hours and it's been dialing. And I think I only had 10 minutes of phone calls. Like it's that much. Like you're sitting there for 6 hours. You may only have a 10 to 20 minute conversation a day. But what happens is that things start to slow down after a while because once you start to get comfortable or we talk about comfortable, you start to get comfortable with that thing, or rather, you start to become skillful, not comfortable. You start to become skillful, and it things start to slow down. Now, here's where a second mistake is made for some salespeople or whatever it is you want to call yourself, is that you don't do anything different with it. It becomes like you don't make a certain adjustment. Skilled salespeople who do really well, it slows down and they make the adjust. They start to be with the people, still in the same framework of view. You start to become with these people, and you start to stop thinking about guiding them in a direction, and then start to see what it is that you can all create together. That's the dope thing. That's what's going on with the kids. Like we're at this point in time, we're like creating something. It's never happened before. It's never happened with my parents. It's never happened with their parents. It doesn't happen with Joe's kids and his interaction with them. It's this unique thing that we're creating. And it's different with both of the kids. It's unique with Elijah. It's unique with Paul. In a second, it'll be when we get off this thing, it's going to be unique with Chalky, who's sitting here staring at me because he wants to be in view. This all the time. So it's like the connect, and that's the word. It's the connection that's being made, and the connection every day, every time can be something so much totally different. So much, and I'm grateful and I'm joy for that. All right, I was rambling. Go ahead, brother. What's your thoughts?
And you brought a lot to the table. You brought a lot to the table. Yeah, man. Sounds like emotional intelligence. Yeah, emotional intelligence. Being self-aware, self-management. That's what I heard when you first started speaking about being aware of yourself when you were responding to legacy, emotional intelligence. And then when you dove into what you started to do with your boys, it was social intelligence or emotional intelligence on the social aspect, socially being aware of what is happening around you and then managing that as well.
No managing. This is
Now
this.
you asked me what I thought, not what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
thought. So what
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought is it sounded like management because you
yeah.
inserted a framework to be able to develop a relationship. So that's what I heard, right?
Yeah.
Inserting a framework to develop a relationship. So I don't see it as being a negative thing. I just see it as being a responsible thing.
Yeah, and I'll add to it is that it's not, to me, it's not management. I appreciate and acknowledge what it was that you mentioned. what I was doing before was management, and it's not, and I don't think anything is negative. It is what it is, right? It'd be the equivalent of me, you saying that you're going to the gym and somebody else saying they're walking. I could care less. Like, I'm glad you're moving. The distinction, because I've become super sensitive to a lot of these different distinctions, and so that's why I'm just clearing it up on my end of it. Because the reason why I do this is because I want Elijah and Paul and my grandkids understand where I'm at this point in time. So that emotional fluidity is something a little bit, to me, is a little bit is a level that I'm taking it on at this point, as opposed to managing it. But I definitely appreciate the thought that you put into what it was that you said.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. And that's just it's really just emotional intelligence in the book, in the books, right out the books, right? But I think that it was a beautiful thing that you're doing. I love it. I think that being present with your children and being present with people is a game changer. I really do. And especially when we are honest, and feel and integral with it, I think it means so much to the other individual. I believe it definitely means a lot to me, especially when people give you space, right? Because I believe what it opens up is it opens up freedom. Whenever you can tell when freedom's not open, because there's closure to conversations. So, like, one of the things that I practice is not closing conversation, not closing out a thought process, but fully understanding what it is that's going on for somebody else. Because they're dealing with something going on inside of their mind, inside their heart. They're dealing with something, and their perspective on whatever that thing is, it matters to them. And I don't have to agree. And that right there helped me understand so much, because I recognize that I don't want to live a life where somebody has to agree with me or has to approve my thoughts. I like to be who I am. And I love what you said earlier. You said we, I think you were talking about as the people, we label things so often, so frequently. And when we label it, it's almost as if we, the people, are always right. And sometimes the things that we as the people label, 10 years from now, somebody's done a deeper study and everything is just thrown out. And this new study has come up, new interpretations have come up, and the new thing is there. I'm very grateful to be alive in this time and this day and this age. I'm very grateful for you, Mike, for this conversation. I'm grateful for the people that checked in. I'm grateful for my dog who was getting on my nerves when I came in here. Oh man, I had a conversation with Mike about that. But I'm grateful for him. Grateful for the house that I'm in. I'm just very, very grateful. And after hearing the exuberance, what I detected as exuberance, and your conversation about your presence with your children, just made me think about so many different occasions with my children and with other people too. So I just this is my close. This is my end. We're a little over an hour. I just want to say to all the people out there, thank you for being here with us, for spending time with us, for dedicating a piece of your allotted life to be here with us for this time. And I, like I said, man, I am just awesomely grateful, because people don't have to check in. Mike, you don't have to show up. And Mike, I appreciate you, man. You know, we've had I had a couple things that have happened over the last few episodes. It was like bing, bing, bing. And going back to the word consistency, you have consistently been good to me, good to us, and always just looking at different ways to make things work out. And every time, I'm going to tell you something, I'll tell you a secret. I get onto the episode the next week, and that, for some reason, I'll think about it right then. I'll say, man, I wonder if Mike is good because we missed last week. We didn't technically miss it. We ran a rerun. So we ran a rerun. But I know that it was because I was on a plane, or because I was in the middle of something, or because I was double booked or something like that. For the majority of the time, if we ever run a rerun, the majority of the time it's because something that was dealing with me. And there was a short, brief conversation. And every single time it's just been, hey, bro, you think we should just run a rerun? There's not a whole lot of explanation or anything like that, but I want to express appreciation. I'm done. Appreciate it.
People, you have everything it is that you need in order to move forward. Get you around some people who are supportive of you. Get some people that you can create some things with. Get some people that you're grateful for. That it's just it creates an awesome and joyous life. It creates an awesome and joyous life, and you can start that now. I love the brother talking about everything he was great. You can be grateful for the breath that you're breathing. It's tough. Brother, you mentioned at the beginning, probably the beginning of the episode, about a lot of the different the noise that's out there, and not just out there, but in here. So I understand it. I understand it. And so just become grateful for all these different things, and then all of a sudden you'll start to notice all the bigger things. And shoot, even the smaller things will seem like bigger things. But other than that, shouts out to you all. We are out. We will see you next week. What is it? We didn't even play our intro. If the Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Peace.